And we're back. I told you we'd be back, and we are. I haven't lied yet. So we are here with the lovely Jade from Ghost Club Paranormal.
Yes.
So it is your first time attending PEX.
Mm-hmm.
How has your experience been with Virginia City so far?
First off, I love Virginia City. I've been here once before, so I've just been dying to come back. So when I found out that PEX was happening in Virginia City, I was like, oh, hell yeah.
Just like sign me up.
Yeah, literally any excuse to come back to Virginia City.
Right.
I'm sure everybody knows it's the paranormal Disneyland. Like,
it really is.
And it really is.
Yeah.
Like, it's awesome, though.
I mean, the whole town's pretty much haunted. So there's not a place you can't go that's not like, doesn't have like something and a story and some sort of history behind it or something like that. So what's been, you had some investigations last night.
Yes.
What's been your favorite place so far?
Mackey Mansion.
Mackie?
100%.
You guys said it was intense last night.
It was, yeah. And like, so we're investigating in like a shorter amount of time than what I'm used to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of like, well, sometimes it takes a while for investigations to warm up. But with Mackey Mansion, it was just
out
like
the gate.
Off the bat activity. And it was just crazy. It was a really weird personal kind of experience. There was a lot of personal messages coming through and stuff like that, which was crazy. Like one thing when Sean was under sensory deprivation from the new reality, and he came through saying Kathy, which is my Nana's name, who just passed recently. Wow. And she was just like, hi. Like I was like, hi, is that you, Nana? She's like, yeah. And then I was doing this with my Pam, like as I was asking the questions. And then he said like Pam. And I was like,
you're like,
and everybody was just so freaked out by this. I was like, anyway, let's bring Mackie back.
Yeah, for sure. And then you guys got some locations tonight that are pretty cool. I think you guys are in the chapel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Silver Queen. So what got you started as we talked about this before, but for anyone who doesn't know and who hasn't seen the episode, though I interviewed Jade, which is on Paraflix, by the way, I believe. When did you get started into the paranormal, and what got you kind of like kicked off and becoming an investigator? What made you go like, I want to do that?
Yeah, so I've a really young age. It was probably about 7 years old. That's when I saw my first full-bodied apparition, and it wasn't, a shadow going by. It was a woman who was floating, talking to me, and she gave me some advice because I was looking for my dad. I'd lost my dad. She told me where he was. And from that moment, it was, that's actually when I found out what a ghost was. And when I found my dad and I was like freaked out, and luckily all my family totally understood and they believed me. And we just spent the whole night talking about ghosts and what they were. And ever since then, I've just been like trying to recreate that moment almost and trying to see if I can maybe capture something that's because it was a real experience that I wish everybody could experience, but yeah.
I think that's one of the things people say, like if they could have a skeptic experience a full body apparition once. Like,
absolutely.
It might flip some switches.
Yeah. I wouldn't want it in every single investigation though, I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
Because it is nerve-wracking, but yeah. And then just from there, it was just I only started investigating about 3 years ago, like fully doing my YouTube channel and stuff like that. And it started off as a road trip, a haunted road trip, and it turned into what it is now. So
and it's just kind of evolved from there.
Yeah.
So you've been to a lot of places, and then what's the favorite place you've been to so far?
In the US, probably the Garnet Hotel.
Okay.
That's in Kansas.
Okay.
Yeah. So Garnet, yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah. People know. It's a little bit, I think it's only just starting to now get a little bit more popular. Like people, like investigators are really starting to like be like, oh, this place is really haunted.
Yeah.
I've not stayed the night there though. So next time I need to stay the night.
Yeah. What's a place on your bucket list that you haven't been yet that you would love to go next?
That's a hard one. I've always said like my dream location, but it's not open, but it would be the Playboy Mansion.
Oh, yeah.
Because the Playboy Mansion is pretty darn haunted.
Oh, it's gotta be.
Yeah. I don't know what they're doing with the mansion right now, but if anybody private owner. If anybody knows the private owner, please let me know.
It's like the White House. Somebody said that one time on on an interview. It was like, I think it was Jay and Jeremiah from Go Show. They were like White House, and I was like, that place is probably so freaking haunted, but good luck. They are never gonna let you investigate the White House, but that would be so cool if you could. Yeah. So, where's your favorite place in overseas?
My favorite place overseas, I just went there a couple months ago. I went over to England, and it was Lily Shaw Abbey, and it's a public location, but they kind of close it at night. But if you're sneaky about it,
you're like,
but it's literally in the middle of nowhere. But it's like an old ruined abbey, and yeah, that was the first investigation I'd done when I got to England, and it was the most active. And it was really just an apparition of a monk who's seen there, and just a lot of crazy EVPs there. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
pretty active.
Yeah,
pretty
it was active. Yeah. Very active.
What's the most intense thing you've had happen on an investigation? Like, was it like a scratch, or was it what was it? Would you say was most intense, or I guess scariest?
The scariest on an investigation was probably back in the old abandoned church house that was in Los Angeles. And nobody knows about this place. And it's like, yeah, anyway, it was so crazy because everything is like exactly how it was back then.
It was just left
It's just left in Los Angeles, like,
which almost never happens, right?
Never, ever.
It's like the place of like tear it down. It's like Vegas, where it's like tear it down. It's 5 minutes old.
Yeah, exactly. So when I went there, I was there with my cameraman at the time, and he got really scratched up there.
Really?
He left about 30 minutes into that investigation. And then once he left, I was down in the basement. And I don't know if a lot of people do this, like investigators, but when you do like an initial walkthrough, if that's what you do before you investigate, sometimes I like to just kind of like keep an eye out on how I'm feeling and what room I'm drawn to, because that's the room that I know that, okay, I need to spend a little bit more time in this room, you know? So it was in the basement, and it was the back room in the basement. And I knew that was the room. At the end of the night, when I went into that room, I had the spirit portal going on, and I had my IR light, I'm filming in night vision, and coming through the spirit portal, it said the light. And the second it said that, my IR light turned off by itself. And as I'm trying to figure it out, I look at my two friends who are looking at me, and I just see a woman right behind them.
Oh, wow, just standing right behind them.
Yeah, like webbed, dark hair, and she was looking right at me. And that freaked me the heck out. I was like, oh, that's what was in this room.
Oh,
like,
that's why.
No, it was really intense, though. And I went back and I did do another investigation there, and they keep on meaning to tear it down, and it's just not getting demolished. Wow. And I've been asked to go back again, and I'm like, I don't know if I can do another one. Like, honestly, like, yeah.
Yeah. Is there some place that you're like besides that you're like, man, it was just real, and that you were like, I don't want to go back there.
Yeah. So Scary Dairy for me in Camarillo was a huge one, because what happened with that episode, I never even done a follow-up about what had happened after that investigation, but the next day I literally died. And I went to hospital, and they had to like bring me back.
Oh, wow.
And I genuinely think the way that they brought me back, you know, with shock.
The paddles. Yeah.
They shocked me back to life. And it wasn't until afterwards I started putting the pieces together. I said, oh, at Scary Dairy, they would do the shock therapy and things like that. And I don't know if something was trying to kind of show me what they were experiencing,
what that was like, and stuff like that.
That was real. That generally was really scary.
Yeah, that's like one of those where it's like, I don't blame you for that one. It's like nope, I don't want to go back there.
No, I'm good. Died once.
That place literally killed me. Literally.
Yeah.
So no.
So yeah, that's pretty much one that I'm just like, no.
You're like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Are there any places that you have planned to go like after this? I think you said you're maybe like taking a month and taking a little break, because it's important for paranormal investigators to take breaks.
Yeah,
I 100% believe that, because it can be intense, and it can be just like location after location after location. It can be draining.
Yeah,
and it's important to do self-care. So is there some place that you have that in mind that you would like to go when you get started back up again?
Like the reason why I'm taking like this couple month break is honestly just because my experience recently with the demonic entity that I captured on camera behind me that followed me home. And that's just, I've been dealing with a lot with that. And, there's a certain point where you just have to say like,
I need to call it for a little bit. Yeah.
I need to just kind of chill with this. Yeah. And just do things that I like to do, and just kind of getting back into that and Halloween, carve pumpkins.
Of course.
Who
doesn't love carving pumpkins?
So, I've really not got anything planned. I've not got anything planned.
It's almost sometimes better that way. Just let it happen organically. And then if something happens, it happens. And then if, it will.
Well, even like being here though, like I'm not, I brought my camera with me and I've not got any footage and I'm just living and experiencing this place. It's just, it's really nice to just kind of switch off sometimes.
It's kind of nice to play paranormal tourist.
Yeah.
Sometimes without having to like worry about making content or like worrying about running around and like, oh, I got to film this. I got to film an episode and stuff. It's like, sometimes it's just, I think a lot of times as investigators get, especially ones that have channels and things like that, we sometimes get lost in the sauce a little bit where it's like, you worry about like, I need content. And then we forget to like stop and kind of just like be in the moment and experience it just like we used to before we had to film anything.
Yeah. And it's not like I've lost my passion for the paranormal, but it's like sometimes I just need to take a little step back and just be like, no, I just want to enjoy it.
I just want to enjoy it for pump the brakes and just enjoy things.
Yeah, I want to be the person that sits back and watches everybody else.
And watch people react when they hear the EVPs and stuff like that.
Yeah, instead of being center stage,
It's sometimes nice to take let somebody else take the wheel for a little bit.
Yeah. And the investigations that I've done with the new reality yesterday, they're really good at that as well. So it's nice. We've been vibing a lot. So
they get a lot of activity around those guys.
And it's all about like who you're with as well, like we all three of us like vibe really, really well. And it just, I think that's probably adds to why we had so much activity last night.
Oh, absolutely. I think when investigators, when you're working together, when you guys have that, like when they have that vibe that like just plays off of each other well, I think the spirits respond to that too. Like you start to get more activity where if you have like investigators that aren't getting along or like maybe you're completely different and conflicting, you might not get that kind of the same responses.
Right.
Yeah. So if anyone has any questions for Jade, would be a time to ask them if anyone has any.
Any questions?
So you have an accent. Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Scotland. Yeah. So originally from Scotland. So you'll see on my channel, like I do like a few investigations over in the UK. And now COVID's over, I'll probably be going back there probably next year and doing some more and stuff like that. So it's kind of between the US and the UK,
We've got a Scotland, Ireland, Triple critics.
Lots of castles.
Nice, yeah. You'll probably have an experience over there.
We're taking some equipment.
Yeah, definitely bring equipment. Yeah. Yes.
Recommend any place, would you?
In Scotland?
Yeah.
Edinburgh. Yeah, definitely go to Edinburgh. That's where I saw that apparition I was telling you about when I was younger. That was right in Edinburgh. The whole entire town is built on top of these vaults where they put all the bodies under when the Black Plague happens, and they just bricked it back up. There's like thousands of dead bodies under there. Yeah, it's extremely it's horrible, but it's very active.
It's one of those things. Unfortunately, that tragedy, like Patty was talking about, where it's like a lot of times tragedy gets
100%.
These like where you have a lot of like the prisons, the insane asylums, or like places like that where you had plagues and things like that, and they just didn't have anywhere to bury the people. And they just kind of had to like bury them under the streets and just build the city on top of them. That you end up with this energy that's kind of just like flows throughout the city. And
100%.
just pops up everywhere.
And when I was 7 years old, I didn't know about the plague.
Right.
But now knowing what I know and looking back at this woman who I saw, it was definitely from that time frame. So I do believe that she was maybe one of them like lost souls underneath the city. It's pretty spooky stuff.
It's pretty spooky things. I think Derek had a question back there.
What's your next equipment purchase?
Or like your bucket list item?
Okay, I'll say this. The seance with Patty yesterday, I don't know what it was that you were using, but I think every investigator in that room was like,
what's
where
that?
do we get that? Take my money. But it was like a spirit box mixed with an ovulus. And it was so clear and so on point. What is that called?
Hasn't made any in a couple of years, and he's only made 2. You can go to McBains.com and beg, MACBAYNES. No one's begged loud enough yet.
Oh.
But
Jade's like, bet I will.
I could have sold 100,000 million.
100%. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Do they have a name for it?
It's called Talking Crystal Ball.
It's called Talking Crystal Ball.
MACBAYNES.com.
Yeah.
You could search the website. You might find it. Sometimes the website's up. Sometimes it's not. He's a friend, and he just kind of stopped making stuff.
Yeah. I'll definitely be looking for that.
I was running around, so I really didn't get to see it in action because I was like running from place to place.
Yeah.
But it's not one I've seen yet.
Yeah.
So
No.
It will say, answer the phone, and then the phone will ring. Okay, I got it.
Like
But then
thanks.
it also has noises as well. So
Oh, okay.
like the typewriter, when the typewriter noise came through, the noise of like almost like fire, like the crackling of a fire. When there's fires just right here, it was very, very on point last night. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it was. So yeah, that.
So one of those.
So something that doesn't even exist anymore.
So track down the mystical crystal ball.
Yeah.
It sounds like an Indiana Jones quest. What's your favorite piece of equipment to use?
Favorite piece of equipment, pretty standard. I would say the REM pod. If you have multiple REM pods, I mean, I've been in the Garnet house, Garnet Hotel. We were in one room and then put like just REM pod in every single doorway. And it's just really cool to, can you cut? Are you in that door? Beep. And then it's and and then beep coming in. And it's just like, so I know what direction the spirits are coming from.
Right.
And then maybe I'll kind of like divert my investigation that
direction.
Yeah.
And then do you like to use, because I know some people kind of do a little mix of both the technical equipment and like the kind of more like the sensory equipment, like dowsing rods or Ouija boards or things like that. Do you use any of those, or pendulums or things like that? Do you use any of those?
So I love the Ouija board. I'm just putting that out there. I love the Ouija board.
I have one in the trunk of my car.
I get such good results from using the Ouija board, and it's so direct. Like your equipment can only do like certain things, but if you're wanting actual direct answers, and if you're not a medium yourself,
right,
the Ouija board really does help. But I know, some locations won't let you bring one.
Right.
Some of my subscribers on YouTube won't even watch if the Ouija board is involved.
Some people get real intense about it. I know that's like one that's like that you can immediately start a fight in the paranormal community by just saying the words Ouija board.
Yeah, 100%.
And watch just
So I think again I'll keep that to like a personal thing. I'll do it on like a Saturday night, have a little seance at my house
just by myself. Yeah, like it's I've noticed it's a very divisive thing in the paranormal community. Just like orbs, you can start a fight by just saying the word orbs and starts a whole fight, and then Ouija board's the other one where it's just like you just watch the two sides go whoosh and like they just at each other. So it's real wild. So you have investigations tonight at, I believe, at the Silver Queen Chapel. And then let us know where they can find your channel and where they can find you and stuff like that, and where all your stuff is right now.
Pretty straightforward on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. It's all just goes called Paranormal.
It's all under the same name. So it goes
under
called
the
Paranormal.
Same thing,
And then you have a new, you have the demonic episodes are like new ones, right? Do you have the new episode coming out?
No, so I literally just put one out on Monday. That's the third of the series.
Okay.
And that's kind of like, it's more shot like a vlog style because the first two were actual investigations. And the third one is me dealing with this demonic entity in my house.
In your house.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's the first time I've ever put anything out on my channel about demons, and I was never a demon
You weren't
person.
that, yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it's been, the past couple of months has just been so much learning and educating myself on, you know, demonology and stuff like that. And it's been very, very eye-opening. And that's the reason why I'm taking the 2 months off.
Right.
It was really, really intense. And if you want to go check that out, then you can go over, it goes called Paranormal on YouTube, and check out that series and let me know what you think about it as well. Because I generally like to hear what people think about it.
Absolutely. So it looks like we'd have one more question in the chat. Kindred Paranormal wants to know, Jade, who have you been excited to meet in person at PEX?
Gosh, so many people, like, honestly, like, really so many people,
Right.
because I've all my friends are online, right?
I know.
You know what I mean? It's like, this is like my family, and it's honestly like, when we met everybody, it's like we literally knew each other for years, and it was just really,
It's very
really
natural,
cool.
very organic.
Yeah, I will say, with the new reality though, it was fate that we got put on these investigations, some together over the next couple of days, but because we've tried to meet up 3 times prior, and like every single time something
happened,
but something like crazy like happens.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like we have to cancel, and it just wasn't our time. And then when we saw that we were on the schedule together,
it was like, okay.
and then all the activity at Maggie Mansion, we're like, this is why
this was supposed to happen, like, now.
Yeah,
And
totally.
Things, well, the universe, you know, puts things in line to where, when they're supposed to happen, when they do. And that's when, so it's like one of those things where it's like, you're like, huh, yeah, no, there's definitely a rhyme or reason behind why certain things happen and why certain things don't. So that's really awesome. But yeah, it's been 100%. Like, I agree with that. It's been real awesome to meet people in person, and just like, especially people that I've only seen on like live streams and on Skype that have not been in the same room with. So it's been very fun.
And it's like, you know, it's been everything that I would hope for and more. Awesome. Like, and that's with the people as well. Like, everybody's just been so cool and welcoming and warm, and you know, it's just an awesome PEX experience.
We love to hear that. So unless anyone has any last minute questions for Jade, we will go ahead and wrap up, and then we will be back after lunch with the new reality. Thank you so much, Jade. And we will be back in about an hour.